All right, I'm going to start class now. We have to cover the first lessons, so I'm going to give the explanation for them so that we can start working with these elements. All right? So, the simple present and the present continuous. This is very simple. Again, A7 is like a transitional product. The first products in Pearson, a Pearson English Interactive 1 and 2, at Executive English, that's from A1 to A6. All right, those first six courses are the basics, all right, for this language. So what A7 is doing, or Pearson English Interactive 3, the first model, this is being the transition and being sure that you know what you have to know to continue working, all right, and that you have all the basic elements to what to be in this course. So we start with these elements, pretty basic. This is the first thing you learn when you're learning English. So you have, we use this tense to talk about facts, daily activities, general descriptions, and things that don't change very often. All right? For example, facts are things, again, that are true in a certain way, right? It's a description of reality. And you can mention many things over there, right? A fact even can be a description about you. For example, when you say, I have a brother, that's a fact. Okay, you have a brother because it is like that. And it's a description of reality. Then daily activities, right? Things that are repeated or are part of your habits. So if you study a career, as in this case, she studies psychology, that's also a daily activity. She goes to the gym, right? Perhaps not daily, but this is a habit. She goes to the gym on the weekends. That's also habit, daily activities in a certain way. General descriptions, things that you like or you don't like, for example, right? I never eat meat. I don't like to smoke. General descriptions about you. They can also be facts in general. And he doesn't drink alcohol, right? And things that don't change, that's also related to facts or habits that are not going to change just because one day it didn't happen, right? That's very important to take into account. We are going to remember that. Please, just in case, I'm going to verify that you're going to be here, Natalia. I'm going to stop sharing the screen for a moment to try to contact you, and then we resume the class. Okay, give me a second. I'm going to verify that everything is working. All right, just in case I shared everything so that you have the options of being here or watching the class later on. So, we mentioned all of these elements, right? I have a brother, she studies psychology, I never eat meat, I don't like to smoke, he doesn't drink alcohol, right? Those are ideas in simple present that we know and we understand. It is over here. The structure is clear, right? We know the formulas, I believe, because of the level that you got. But again, important things to know over here is that when we use I, you, we, they as the subject, we only use the base verb, right, of the verb in affirmative. So I go to the gym, I study this, I eat that, I anything in the base verb. It's the same with you, we, and they. When it's negative, we know that we use don't, right? I don't, we don't, they don't. So I don't eat, I don't go, we don't eat, we don't go, they don't study, and so on and so forth. And you have some examples down there, right? I like pasta, I don't like pasta. Then he, she, it, third person. The thing that changes is that we have to use the third person rule. That is the S or the ES, right? Instead of like will be likes, go, goes, eat, eats, run, runs, right? Pretty simple. So he likes, she likes, it likes, it eats, she eats, he eats, right? It studies, she studies, he studies, all right? The ES. When it's negative, the only thing that has the ES is does. The rest of it, I mean, the main verb is going to be in the base verb, right? She likes pasta. She doesn't like pasta. All right? That's going to be very important. And actually, that's it related to the elements that we should know with the simple present. Again, this is not a lesson for A7. This is a review. So we only have to be sure that this is clear for you. If this is clear, if you know how to talk about routine, facts, general descriptions in present, then this is good for you. And then we have this other tense. This is the present continuous, right? And in the present continuous, you have these possibilities. Things that are happening right now, things that are happening for a specific period of time, or to put emphasis on an activity. Okay, so this is not only for things that are happening now, right? As it is commonly known, it is for more elements. So I'm studying for the test, perhaps now, or perhaps you can say I'm studying for the test this week. So it means that this week, this is the action that you are doing. She's reading in the library. It can be now. They are not going to the park. It can be now, or perhaps they always go to the park, but this week or this month, they are not going to the park because of a certain reason. Okay, so you can say they are not going to the park this month. All right, so again, that's something that is not happening this specific period of time. And the last one is clear in that sense, right? We're learning a lot this month. It's not specifically or exactly happening now, right now, but it's something that is happening this month. And again, that is going to be very important. All right. The formulas again are very clear, right? We are doing, they are not doing any verb plus ing. So this is pretty simple. And we know how to conjugate be, right? Again, this I imagine that you have this knowledge because of the conversation we've had yesterday. I know that this is clear, but we have to be sure that it is. All right. So I am, he, she, it is, I, we, you, they are. Right. So he's writing an article. They are not listening to the class. Okay. And again, to be sure that we understand the difference, when we have a question in the simple present, we refer to what? To facts, to routine, to habits, to things that happen every day, right? So this is general. So what do you do means that I want to know what you do on a daily basis. So I'm a doctor. I study medicine, right? That's your general description. But what are you doing is not your general description, it's what are you doing now or these days, or again, this specific period of time. So you say, I'm studying for my medicine test. Perhaps you're doing that now. So it refers to always a very and more specific period of time, right? I'm going to my classes. So if that is clear, again, the idea about present simple and present continuous is clear. Then you got this. I like the class. She loves this food, right? I like the class cannot be I'm liking the class because we have something called, right, a stative or not stative verbs. You don't say that, right? Even in Spanish, it's not correct. I'm liking the class. You like something or you don't like something. It's not that you're liking or you're not liking. The same with love. So here, we should remember that there are some verbs that cannot be used in ing because it doesn't make sense. That works in English and in Spanish as well, right? Have, for example, you say, I have a brother, or I don't have any brothers, but you don't say, I'm having a brother, or I'm not having a brother, right? Of course, that's just by logic, it doesn't make sense. This is the only thing they are telling you here. Some verbs are not used with ing, okay, and are almost the same, all right, the same ones or the ones that we got in Spanish. You could say instead of I'm liking the class, no, you can say I'm enjoying because enjoy can be used as an action verb. Okay, I'm enjoying the class or she's enjoying this food. That's like something possible. And this is what I was telling you. Some verbs are action verbs. Run, walk, play, study. So you can say running, walking, playing, studying. I'm running in the park, correct. She's walking on the streets, correct. I'm playing right now, correct. They are studying for the test, correct. Right? But if you say no, you say I know or I don't know. I know you, I don't know you. I know this place, I don't know this place. I know how to speak, right? This language or I don't know. But you don't say I'm knowing, I'm not knowing, she's not knowing. No, right? Incorrect. So non-action verb, only know. The same like we mentioned like before, the same love, we mentioned love in the previous example, and the same want. Right? You say, I want an ice cream, or I want a piece of ice cream, or I want this or that. Or you don't say, I want, or I'm wanting this, she's wanting that. No, because it's not an action, it's a description of something that you feel, right? And the categories are going to be the ones, if it's here, it's going to be great. No, the categories are related to perception. I see, I don't see, all right, to possession, have, belong, own, possess, right? Those are not actions, those are states. Then they are related to measurement or yes, measurement and weight, for example, to measure, right? This furniture measures, and that's a characteristic that it has a state, not an action. Or weights, right? If you want to know the weight of something, you can say it weighs 30 kilograms, right? It weighs 30 kilograms. So again, you know that it's not an action, it's a state, it's a characteristic that it has. All right, so that's the difference between stative and non-stative verbs. Now, or action and non-action verbs. In here, you have something interesting. Some of those verbs can be action and non-action. It means they can be stative, that's non-action, and they can be action verbs as well. It depends on the meaning. For example, the verb to be. And again, this is not part of the lesson, but this is to complement the lesson, to understand why it is not correct to use the continuous tense in any situation. All right, that is going to be important for that specific purpose. So is, the verb to be is stative when this is a state. For example, my name. If I say I am Luis, that's correct. I cannot say I am being Luis, right? And when you describe someone as something that he or she or it is, right? For example, if you say he's immature, you use is. You don't say he is being immature, but you say he is immature. If you know that this is the description that this person has, this is something that it's always true. That's why it's a state. It's not something temporary. It's not an action. It's a state. The age, I'm 32 years old. You don't say I am being 32 years old. Okay, so easy. State, something that you are, stative. Action, you are not that, but you are behaving. You're acting like that. So it's not your state, is what you are doing. He's being immature. It means that he's acting in an immature way. All right, this is not a state. This is an action. The same with have. I told you, right? When it's possession, you don't say having. You don't say, I'm having a car, he's having a dog. No, I have a car, I have a dog. That's good. State, possession. But have, right? It has more meanings. For example, eating or drinking or experiencing. When it means that, you can say continuous tenses with have. So I'm having breakfast. I'm having, I don't know, some juice. He's having fun, right? Because have in this case means eating or drinking, and have in this case means experiencing. So if you mean that, you can use have with ing. It means you can use have in the continuous tense. Then you have see, stative, right? Perception with your eyes, understanding. I see some birds. I see what you mean. So when it's perception with your eyes, I see some birds. Or understanding, I see what you mean. I understand what you mean is a state. Okay, because it's not action, it's what you perceive. You don't do that, all right, actively. You receive that information, all right, through your eyes. And understand, I understand, or I don't understand, right? You don't say I'm understanding this, or I'm not understanding, or I'm seeing what you mean. I'm not seeing what you mean. No, I see what you mean, I don't see what you mean. I see some birds, or I don't see some birds. A state, right? It's a state, not an action. But it is an action when see means meeting or to have a relationship with. So I'll be seeing the doctor tomorrow. Okay, it means I'll be encountering, meeting the doctor tomorrow. Okay, to have an encounter, it is an action. Then they are being, oh, sorry, they've been seeing each other for a month. It means that they have been dating. They have been going out as a couple for a month. All right, and again, that is an action, it is not a state. Look, right? Same idea, but in this case, if look is appearance, then it is stative, right? Because you can say, this looks great, or he looks good, or as an example, that cake looks delicious, right? It's not an action, it's how the cake looks, a description that it has, a state. But it is action when you use phrasal verbs, and it means, for example, to observe. To look for, it means to seek or to take care of. So he's looking at the computer screen, observing, using the eyes to do this, not perceiving, okay, not seeing. It's doing that actively, observing something, right? That's to look at. Look for, to seek. I'm looking for something. I'm seeking something. I'm searching for something. That is action. You actively do that. And they are looking after someone. It means taking care of someone or something. They are looking after my dog. Okay, so again, that's action, right? It's not a state, it's something that they are doing. Then smell, taste, all right, smell, taste, stative. When smell and taste are stative, as I mentioned before, it's a characteristic that something has. It's a state that something or someone has. The bar smells. If you go to the bar, it smells. It produces that, all right? It produces that. If you have meat, also tastes, right? You eat the meat and you taste, right? But the meat tastes like chicken in this case. That's the taste of the meat. So if that's the thing, if something produces that smell or taste, it is stated because that's the characteristic, that's the quality of the bar, that's the quality of the meat. But it is action if a person uses their senses to perceive that idea, but actively. When you say he's smelling the cookies, is because he's going to the cookies and he's smelling those cookies actively. He decided to do that. She's tasting the soup to see if it needs more salt. So she's cooking and she decides to taste that. And you can say she's tasting, actively putting, right, a spoon with some soup on it into her mouth to taste, right? So if that is actively happening, then you say she's tasting. It means again that they are actively using the senses to perceive that. Okay? Then think and feel, same idea. When think and feel are opinion, it is stative. I think that that's a great idea. I feel that this is not the best use of our time. So if you say that, it means in my opinion, right? In my opinion, that's a great idea. In my opinion, this is not the best use of our time. So if you say in my opinion, you don't say this in continuous tenses, right? You don't say, I'm thinking that's a great idea. I'm feeling that this is not the best use of our time. No, I think, I feel, I believe. Okay, if you can replace that with in my opinion or I believe, it is good. But it is action when you talk about using your mind. We're thinking about moving to another city. This is not you believe. Okay, you don't say we are believing about moving to another city, right? No, you say I'm thinking, I'm using my mind, I'm using my brain to think, to consider something. All right, I'm considering something. Then I've been feeling unusually tired lately. It means to experience emotion or health issues. If that's the case, you can use feel as an action verb. All right. And finally, today we're finished with this. And actually, we have one more presentation that I'm going to be showing you now. I'm just checking if there's something. Okay. Weigh and measure. The same idea as taste and smell, right? It is a stative when it's a state. When the suitcase weighs 20 pounds, or you can say, right, some kilograms, that's the state of the suitcase. The suitcase is not doing any action, right? The suitcase, that's the characteristic that it has. It weighs 20 pounds. The surfboard, right, measures 2 meters by 55 centimeters. That's not an action. That's a description of the surfboard. All right. And it's action when a person actively uses, let's say, a tool to try to measure that. The butcher is weighing the meat on a scale. So the butcher is using a scale, right, to see what's the weight of the meat. But the butcher is weighing the meat. And the architects were measuring the distance between the pillars. Again, they can be using instruments to measure the pillars. It's not that the architects measure, all right? You can say that, but you're talking about the characteristics that the architects have. It's not the case. In this case, you're describing an action that the architects are doing. All right, so this is the first part. I'm going to change now the presentation. If you're going to have any questions about these elements, this presentation, please, it is important for you to let me know. All right, I'm changing again, and we continue with the next presentation. All right, now this is the next presentation. We're going to start with this one now. And again, this is the thing we're going to do to finish today. We have one more. If we get to finish this in time, perhaps we're going to cover at least the introduction of this one. All right, so let's begin with this next one. It says suggestions. With suggestions, we have to know that we have many ways to express these ones. They can be through some models, they can be through some expressions, but we're talking about recommendations, things that are a good idea doing in a certain way. All right, so we're going to start with the basics because, as I mentioned at the beginning, this is going to be mainly like a transitional product, a transitional course, to be sure that we have all the knowledge that we need for this course and the following ones. All right. The first one is let's. Let's means to suggest something for you and me. Now, something very important is that let's always needs this apostrophe. All right. You cannot use let's without this apostrophe. If you do it, it means something different. That's the third person of let. All right, you can say, she always lets her children, right, go out. If that's the case, it's okay, but that's another meaning. Here, let's with apostrophe, it means let us, right? This is for you and me, right? Let us do something. And again, it's recommendation. It has to be with apostrophe. If you don't use the apostrophe, you have to say let us, right? That's again very important. But if you say let's, just like that, that's something else, right? That's not correct. All right, let's take that into account. So you say, let's go to the cinema. You and I should go to the cinema. That's the meaning that you have over there. Let's not eat pasta today. That's you and I should not eat pasta today. So it is pretty simple, right? You only have to follow this formula over here. You have let's plus not, that is optional, plus the base form of the verb. Let's go, let's study, let's dance, let's start, let's begin, let's finish, and so on and so forth. Or let's not do it, let's not start yet, let's not anything. That is an action in the base verb. Okay, so this is the first one. Now you're here with me. I'm going to be with you. All right. Yes. Now I'm going to ask you the questions now after this, because now that you're here, we can interact. So let me know, please, what questions do you have, and what do you mean when you say, right, when you say let's is informal? Because actually, let's, it's a very common, I wouldn't say that it's formal or informal. It's correct grammatically speaking, it's not incorrect. As long as you are using polite words, as long as you're following all the rules that you need, it is going to be formal. Okay, there is no way I think in which we can say let's is informal. Of course, you can be more formal if you avoid the contraction, and instead of let's, you use let us. Okay, if you use let us, it's going to be even more formal. But let's is a special, so if you use it again, it's going to be formal and correct. I wouldn't say that this is going to be informal in Natalia, because you have sometimes models, right, that you use that can be more formal. For example, can, could, would, will, or you have should, ought to, must, and so on. But in this case, again, as long as you use it with all the rules that you got, with a please at the end or at the beginning, it is going to be good. All right, but let me know, please, if you have questions, because now you're going to give some ideas for both of us. You're going to go to our document, Natalia, and in that document, you're going to write a set of examples. But before going there, let me know, please, if you have any questions.
No, that's all. Thank you.
Okay, so let's go, please, Natalia. Go to our document, and we're going to write four ideas. you're going to give me 4 suggestions, 4 affirmative suggestions, and 4 negative suggestions using this logic. All right, let me know when you're in the document about to write, please, so I can start with the timer.
In Google Classroom, right?
Yes, that's right. You go to Google Classroom, you go to classwork, you look for classwork all units, and you look for the document and file with your name.
Sorry, is in Unit 1?
Give me a second, please. I'm going to verify. I'm opening this one. No, it's in the general description, Natalia. It says courses information and contact, and it says classwork all units over there.
Okay, I'm here.
All right, so let's do it, please. 4 ideas, 4 affirmative ideas. Sorry, 2 affirmative ideas, 2 negative ideas, 4 in total. Let's do it. We're going to have 1 minute per example, but if you finish before, please let me know. All right, let's begin. In 4 minutes, we check.
Okay, I finished.
Great. So I'm going over there with you so that we can check, right? This is very simple, but again, we need to be sure that everything will be clear regarding these basic contents. So let's read those ideas, please.
Let's do the homework together and let's go to a party this night.
Yes, the next 2 now, please.
Let me know if you are right, but I'm not sure about that. And the last is let's play football this weekend.
Okay, all right. Yes, the 3 of them over there, they are good, right? But number 3, if you realize, that's not suggestion, right? Let here it is a verb. This is imperative. This is imperative, like asking for permission, right? You let me know if you are right. Okay, so this is not suggestion. Suggestion has to be for both of us. This is imperative, again, only for you. All right. So again, and you realize that anytime you don't have the apostrophe S, it's not going to be suggestion. All right. Now, what do you say? What can you say instead of that in number 3?
Um, wait. Let's know him if we are maybe this.
But in this case, this is going to be kind of weird because if you say let's know him, is like you and I should know him if we are right. But I don't know what you mean by that, because to know, you don't actively right know someone if it doesn't make
Mhm.
sense. I don't know what's the idea that you have behind it, Natalia. What is the thing that you want to say over there?
I try to say that, for example, for our parents, and we have to say that my sister and me are right, and I want to say him the situation, and this is the
Okay,
sense.
but if you say no, right? What is to know? If you try to define the verb know, to know is to have knowledge about something actively. You don't say, right, I'm going to know you if something, right?
Mhm.
Let's know also, if you say let's know, no, because it's not that you're going to earn that
Ah, okay.
situation, right? You can say let's learn about something, or here, I don't
Mhm.
know, perhaps you can say let's ask him if we are right. I don't know,
Yes.
that I'm thinking about the possibilities, right? Let's
Yes.
ask him if we are right, right? Because
Mhm.
to know is more a state, is something
Mhm.
that you are, right? I know, I don't know, we don't know, but you cannot make someone know. You can teach someone, right? I can teach you how to do this so that you know how to do it. All right, just that one. I don't know
Mhm.
if you have any questions about these suggestions, Natalia.
No, the third is okay. Only changing the verb, right?
Yes, because no is not a transitive verb. Okay, you have
Yes.
transitive verbs and intransitive verbs, right? You cannot use an object with no. It has to
Uh-huh.
be ask in this case. Okay, ask so.
Mhm.
But that's the only thing. Now, remember, we needed in Natalia in our examples two affirmative and two negative ones. So
Ah,
how can you change the last two into negative?
okay. Um,
In that case, actually, if you realize, it's going to be simpler, because why? If you say don't, that's not suggestion, that's imperative, right? Don't do it. To say this in negative, you simply say let's not and the rest of it. Okay? As in,
mm,
let's not go to the party. Let's not do this. Let's not do that. Mhm.
only that. This is the unique situation, or
Every
uh,
time. If you want to
okay,
say suggestion in negative, this is the only possibility. If you say
okay.
don't let's, that's incorrect. Okay, so to
Mhm,
remember this, I'm always going to mark these elements like this. So remember
mhm,
this. In negative, this is always going to be with not after the expression let's, and you always use apostrophe s. All right, those are very important rules that you don't have to forget. If you don't use apostrophe s, let is only imperative. If you
mhm,
change the negative to don't, it is also imperative. Okay, so all of these are suggestions.
mhm,
All right. And here, for example, we have orders that are imperative. Okay, and here you can say, let me go, please. All right. Or let them stay tonight. Okay, so you're asking for
mhm,
permission actually here. Okay, you are asking for permission. In a certain way, this is order, but this is order in the sense of asking for permission to someone that is in a higher hierarchy than you are, or that is in charge of something in that specific situation. And the negative of them, of course, is going to be now don't, right? So the negative of these two ideas
mhm.
It's weird, but you can say don't
Don't.
let go.
Mhm.
Exactly. Huh? Don't let me go, please. Right? Imagine, I don't want you to let me go. This can be in a relationship, right? Don't let me go. Then don't let them stay tonight. Okay, but again, this is not permission, this is not suggestion, this is imperative. Okay, only for you.
Mhm.
And here, this is for you and I, for you and me. Let's see if it's at the end.
Okay. Mhm.
All right, so this is the main idea. So I don't know with that if you have any other details or comments before going to the next part. Let me know, please.
No, that's okay here.
All right, good. So we're going to do the same with the next one. All right, let's pay attention to these details. Remember, the examples are here, right? Let's affirmative, let's go. Let's negative, let's not eat. And this is the formula, right? Let's not is optional, base form of the verb. All right, so let's continue. I'm always going to be asking you like that. Why don't? In this case, please, Natalia, you are going to read this. Read this slide, please.
Why not? To suggest something either for you or for both of us, we. It can be a suggestion for you and not we. Why don't you watch that movie tonight? Why don't we watch that movie tonight? You should watch the movie tonight. Why don't plus S plus base form of the verb plus C.
Great, right? You have the subject and the complement. So in this case, Natalia, this is not always for both of us. This is going to be, can be for you, right? You can give me a suggestion, for example, Natalia, and you can tell me, why don't you write, call me in 5 minutes? So you're giving me a suggestion, and that's only for me, right? Why don't you call me in 5 minutes? So you are giving the suggestion to me. But imagine that you want us, you and I, Natalia, you want us to do something together. So you say, why don't we start the, I don't know, right? Our, what could it be? Our project, okay? Why don't we start our project next week? So that's for both of us, okay? So you have the two options. Why don't you and why don't we? And again, it depends what you want to say. I don't know if you have any questions about this because we're only going to write two examples, Natalia. But let me know. Do you have any questions or doubts?
No.
All right. So let's go to the document once again. Let's only write one example with why don't you and one example with why don't we, please. And we continue.
Okay. Mm.
All right, different to these examples, please, we can try to use different verbs. And even if you feel that this is easy, you can also try writing more complex ideas, and I'm going to give you corrections about that. Okay, it's going to be up to
Yes.
you how you write it.
Mm-hmm. I do it. I did it.
All right, now I'm here with you. It was great. Let's replace those ideas.
Why don't you review the info to your boss? And the other is, why don't we travel around the world for 3 months?
Okay,
report.
all right, good. So we're going to practice two things here, all right? Now, review. Well, how can you define the verb review, Natalie? What is to review something?
Check the info,
All right.
read the info.
Okay, yes. To check, to mainly when you double check something, or to review, perhaps more than checking, Natalia. Check is going to be more like revise something, okay? Revise or
Yes.
check. Review is more like to cover something one more time to be sure that this is clear for you mainly, right? You can review, for
Uh,
example, the lesson, right? We can learn about the simple present and we can review the simple present once again to be sure that we understand the simple present, right? But
mm,
here, I don't know if you're going to review the inform, perhaps you're going to revise it, okay? So
uh-huh.
you can say revise. Okay, why don't you revise the inform? And here, instead of to our, all right, because to is not a preposition, here you need collocations. A collocation is a combination of a verb plus a preposition, and not all of them are going to work together. You can revise something for someone or with someone.
Mm,
Okay,
mhm.
so are you going to revise this inform for your boss or with your boss?
For your boss.
Okay, for in this case, right? And again, you have options, but in this case, it is going to depend on what's the meaning and what you want to say. All
Mhm,
right, so again, revise in this case, it is better than review. All
mhm.
right, it's not bad to review something and hear information. And yes, actually, here, this is something I didn't notice. How do you call to that paper document that you use to write everything that you did, for example, in a day, right? Inform, but that's a very Spanish translation. Here they want to say the
Mm,
information, but it's not information. There's another word. I don't know if you remember.
mm.
How do you say
Document,
it? Close, but in English we're going to say
report.
report. Uh-huh,
Okay.
exactly. Report, not inform. Inform is going to be more as a verb. I'm informing you, or I inform you every time I can.
Mm,
But report,
mhm.
report. Then, yes, this was good. And this is something, yes, we have to remember that, right? The spelling with the th first. How do you pronounce?
Yes.
How do you pronounce these two words? Right? What's the difference in pronunciation between those two?
The first is three, and the second is three, I think.
Close, but if you say three, like that's to Spanish, right? That's and the R
Uh-huh.
also that's a Spanish R, right? So close,
Uh-huh.
but more like this. The first one is tree. This is tree. The first one is tree, okay, tree. But this one is like three. It has to be very subtle, and you need your tongue to be here. Okay, so the first one is explosive, tree, tree. The
Three,
second one is more like fluid, three, three,
three,
three. Okay, let's repeat the two of
three.
them, please.
Three and three.
Three, exactly. And those little details, all right, those little details, Natalia, are going to make your speech even better because it's not only here, it happens in many places and people don't notice that. For example, how do you read these two words over here?
They and they.
They, right? They. This actually has to be they, right?
They.
They. Exactly. What about this? Those two.
And thought and thought.
Close. But remember, actually, the two of them are very similar. The first one is taught,
Mm,
taught, and
thought.
the second one is thought. Okay, so taught, thought, taught, thought. If you don't pronounce thought correctly, you're going to say this, taught. Okay, so let's repeat the two of them, please.
Thought. Thought.
Taught and thought, right? I taught you how to do this, right? The past of teach. So those details, all right? Take those little details into account. And again, it works with everything. If you see a th, try to be a little bit more like fluid in that case and a little bit subtle, right? Like thought, three, they, with, right? We don't say with, I want to go with you. No, I want to go with you, right? With you. All right. So that detail, it's little, Natalia, but it's going to make a lot of difference. All right, a lot of difference. So that's it. I don't know if you have any questions up to that part. We have only one more thing. We're going to finish with that.
Mm-hmm. No, it's
Oh,
okay. We can continue.
oh, okay, good. The last one is this element in Natalia. How about? I'm also showing you what about because it seems to be the same, but it's not the same. So let's try to understand the difference, please. Only one of them is suggestion.
Mhm. How about to make a suggestion that I feel is best? How about going to the party tonight? How about we go to the party? What about to bring an objection or potential obstacle into consideration? What about the homework? If we go to the party, we won't be able to do it.
Thank you very much. Before going to the last general explanation, let's read one more time this word, please. How do you read this word?
Suggestion?
Okay, close. Few details we have to change. This U instead of O is going to be more like A, and the G is going to be stronger, like suggestion, suggestion. And this is also going to be like ch. All right, so let's repeat that one,
Suggestion.
please. Suggestion.
Suggestion.
Exactly.
Suggestion. I
Yes,
I
good.
I don't need to pronunciate the T. Suggestion.
Yes, the pronounce. Yes, you don't need to pronounce the T. That
Mhm.
T here is going to become ch, suggestion. Mhm.
Suggestion. Mhm.
Exactly. The T, for example, here potential, because this is in between this. Okay, we have some rules. We're not going to cover those rules into details, but for example, here, this T is the T, potential, right? We don't say potential, right? Potential. But and yours was good. But here, objection, shin. So this T is not T, is shin. Okay, so here's like
Yes.
suggestion, objection, but potential, right? Because of the order is different. If it's at the end with ION, it's like ch or sh. If it's before that, it's T, all right?
Yes.
Or
Mhm.
potential, but T is better here. All right. Now, I don't know if you understand the difference now between how about and what about. How about is real suggestion, right? I can tell you, Natalia. Natalia, how about dancing tomorrow? Right? So I'm giving you the suggestion to dance tomorrow. How about playing this? How about studying for the test? How about, I don't know, eating out? Okay, suggestions, invitation. But you can say also, how about we dance tomorrow? How about we go to the party? How about we start something? But if it's not suggestion and it's objection or obstacle, you say, what about? Right? So imagine, Natalia, it's this weekend, I'm going to ask you out. Natalia, how about dancing this weekend? How can you reply to that proposal, Natalia, using what about? What do you say? How
Um,
can you reject me?
what about um, the what about my uh, the money that I give you?
Okay, all right. Yes, yes, in a certain way, that's going to be objection. Yes. Remember, but in this case, it's not in the example, but usually you're going to say, I would like to go, but what about the money that you owe me, right? What about the money that you owe me? I don't have money now. I need the money that I lent you, right? Without that,
Mhm.
I don't have enough money to go out. right? So it is correct. If you give the correct context and you prepare your response before what about, it is going to be, right? So you can say, I love to, I would like it, but, however, yet, nonetheless, though, right? What about the money that you owe me because I don't have enough to go out? All right. One more thing. One more thing. If I say, right, how about watching a movie right now? What can be the objection, right? You first tell me the negative response, then you give me the obstacle or the limit with what about, and you can give me any context.
Mhm. Uh, what about the hour? Is too late for watch a movie
Okay, for watching, right? For
for
watching a
watch.
movie. Good.
Mhm.
And instead of hour, no, that's also in Spanish,
The
only
time.
time. What about the time? Mhm.
Mhm.
Good. Yes. What about the time? It's too late to watch. You have two options there, Natalia. You can say it's too late to watch a movie, or it's too late for watching a movie. The best option is to watch, all right? But if you say for,
Mhm.
never say for watch. It has to be for
Mhm.
watching with ing.
Okay.
All right.
Mhm.
That's it. Now, we don't need to write this because this is more like speaking. This is something that you use when you have a conversation. So for
Uh-huh.
me, that this is the last part of the
Mhm.
presentation. In the next part, with that, we finish today. Now, in the first minutes, Natalia, I covered the simple present and the present continuous. It's not
Mm.
hard. Imagine that you know that one. Just in case, please, I want you to watch that part of the class. It's
Mhm.
in the link I sent to your number, Natalia.
Uh-huh.
It's the first minutes.
Okay.
I believe that you got it, but just in case, watch it. If you have any questions, you let me know, please, on Friday. I don't know if you got to have the conversation with management and if you have a decision about it,
Yes.
Natalia. Yes.
And
So what is
y-
what you decided?
Friday and from 9 to 10 p.m. But if I have to change, because always I'm not available all the time on this schedule, I have to tell with the anticipation. But
Okay.
most of cases, I think yes.
Okay. All right. Good. Yes. If that's what you got to, well, to agree with management, then it's good. 9 to 10, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
All right. Just in case, please, Natalia, send me a message with that information so I have that there, and that's going to be my reminder. Okay, nine to
Yes,
ten.
please. Sorry for today because I forgot that all I was doing the homework in the morning and I forgot the class of tonight.
Okay, don't worry. It happens. But again, the good thing, remember, Natalia, that every class is recorded.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so this is recorded. So again, it's the best idea is also and always to be here, right? Sometimes, of course, we're going to have inconveniences. It happens. You have the recording, but to me, it's always better that you are here with me because we can
Yes.
practice like together. All right?
Yes, exactly.
Good. So that's it. I don't know if you have any other questions. Again, remember, please watch the class. Then on Friday at 9, at the beginning of the class, you have to let me know, Natalia, because no, but at 9, they told you from 9 to 10
Uh, yes.
or
Friday.
10. Yes, because actually, I have a class at that time in Natalia. I don't know
Ah,
why. Yes, my free time, but actually, they know in management. It's weird that they told you. Perhaps 8 to 9. I don't know if 8 to 9 is going to work for you, but I'm going to tell management.
uh-huh.
It's weird that they told you
Yeah,
that
it's
because,
better.
okay, I'm going to tell them, but it's something you have to agree with management. I'm going to write them, but also tell them, please, I'm also going to do it myself. That I have a class and it's here also with someone at Executive English. It's weird that I told you. Perhaps they forgot. But if that's the case and you can, please also be sure
Mm-hmm.
to have a conversation one more time with management
Mm-hmm.
and tell them that it's going to be from 8 to 9. But again, I have
Yes.
to also tell them because I don't know what happened. All right. But just in case, from 9 to 10, it's not going to be possible. It has to be before or it has to be afterwards
Uh-huh.
at the same time we are now. Okay?
Only Fridays, right?
Only Fridays. Yes, on Mondays and Wednesdays, it's the same time from the same time we are in. All
Yes,
right?
for me, it will be better from 8 to 9, even 7 from 8 or like this. But 8 to 9 is better than 9 to 10, only for Fridays.
Okay, good. But again, just in case, I'm also going to have a conversation with them because, as I told you, right, there's one student that is changing the schedule. Perhaps they told you that because they already changed the schedule for that student, and now I'm going to have that free for you.
Mm-hmm.
But they didn't tell me anything yet. Okay, so I'm going to ask them. Anyways, we have to follow what management is going to say. If they got to order the schedules in a different way, we're going to keep the time that you're telling me. But that's why
Okay,
I'm also going to verify with them. All right?
perfect. Yes.
Okay, good. So at any time that we can verify for Friday, you know that you have to tell me about the class, the first part of the class. And that's it for now, Natalia. As always, I'm sharing the survey, the poll with
Mm-hmm.
you. You have it there. You complete that, please. And that's it for now. Okay, I hope you have a good night. And I'll see you on Friday then.
Okay, thank you so much.
You're welcome. Bye bye. Take care.
Bye. See you.
Bye bye. See you.